Alright, welcome back to More Than Peachy's Gaming. Today, we're going to actually be doing a tutorial over Cloak Tower. As you can kind of see, we're way over leveled. We're all level 70 with item levels over 2300. So, just a heads up, this will be a quick run, but I'm going to go over all of the in-depth secrets and shortcuts, as well as some strategies as we go through this. So we're going to go ahead and load in. Remember that you only need a party of 3 that is level 12 or above. This is a perfect leveling dungeon for anybody trying to get some quick diamonds. Just run it on your character twice a day, and you'll get roughly about 12 to 16,000 diamonds. Okay, so first things first, these enemies can be quite challenging at lower levels. I recommend, doing a public queue, because sometimes you'll run into people who are much higher item level than you, or level in general, or anybody who might be friends. So we're just running through this really quick. Somebody's asking what we're doing. Just running it. I mean, there isn't a whole lot of secrets in here, I guess. So first things first, when you come down here, you can make the jump, and 4 enemies spawn behind the stairs. If you get to them quickly, they're all grouped together. Otherwise, they like to chase you into this corridor. So, quick thing to make note of. Alright, so these enemies come at you. There's a few of them, and then there's a few to the left, and I believe one to the right, and one to the forward. Okay? You have to kill them all before you can open this door. Kind of a pain in the butt. Kill these enemies, and more enemies spawn in the doorway and off to the right. There is an arcane kit here if you want it. I'm going to pass on it. Alright, the trap on the other side was triggered by this guy, Battlestead Orc. And you have to kill all the enemies in these 2 rooms to open up this door. There's nothing to my right or left, and there are traps to the right and left of this, as you can see. Somebody triggered it. You can skip these enemies if you want and take a right to speed run through this. But if you speed run through it, you're not going to get the item over here, which I believe is a green crystal. Alright, you have to kill all enemies in the room before you can pick it up, though. You have a few that spawn after the initial group, but you get the green crystal, and then you move on. Okay? Mind you, these crystals are not mandatory by any means. These are for extra treasure. So if you're speedrunning, you can completely skip over that room. Most people do. In addition, you can keep running through these enemies. Just do be aware that they do chase you. And when it comes up to the next door, they can cause an issue. Alright? So into the next room, we have a platform to our left, which is a shortcut. You can take it if you want it. Otherwise, there's an enemy on the far side, and here, and a treasure chest right there. And then you can just walk this way. You don't have to. For this purpose, I'm actually going to jump over this for the shortcut, and there are 3 enemies on this side, and an arcane kit right by that. In addition, there are traps in there, as you can kind of see them with the holes. And then there are 3 enemies on the other side here. You can hit them with ranged attacks, or you can just go over there and smack them if you want. Again, kind of easy. Some quick things. These enemies pretty much all are orcs. That's all the dungeon is. You have to kill all those enemies to open up that door. And we will now lead down to the first boss, Macred the Foul. This boss is immune to all control effects, knockback effects, and the like. If you don't kill him quick enough, he'll summon a few minions, and they do not go away. Beating him will get you some adventure seals. So A few enemies back here, they always spawn, so be aware. There are a few other shortcuts, which I will note at the end, that you can use, but the big one is skipping doors, which is really easy for a lot of people to do. Okay, so these enemies are here. You have to wipe them out real quick, or over time, so you can pick up this blue crystal over here. You're going to need that. Goes in conjunction with the red and the green. Alright. You gotta kill all of these enemies, and then more enemies will spawn up here. They generally will charge you, unless you kill them too quickly. Generally, there's 3 waves in total. The initial wave, followed by the subsequent waves. This area is a little weird, the Botanical Garden, because you can fall down, but if you fall down, you just have to walk back up. Key notes here for items are the glowberries. You have to kill all the enemies in the area before you can pick them up. And then you're going to want to grab the ginger shroom. This is not the only location you can get a ginger shroom, but it is the big one. Okay, for this area you can follow the golden trail or take this little shortcut right here. Just hug the wall to the left. It's a neat little shortcut. It saves probably a few seconds, and if you're running Cloak Tower after Cloak Tower, you're going to love that shortcut. Okay, got a few more enemies here. Remember, you have to kill all the enemies that are chasing you and that spawn in this room to open up the door. You can, however, kill this boss by range attacks through the door, or you can just simply open up the door and go kill him. So for purpose of this, we're just going to go up there and kill him. This boss is weak to CC effects, and susceptible to all control effects, more or less. Means you can't be grabbed or anything like that. So you can freeze them, you can grab them, you can do whatever, and he will sometimes drop the ginger shroom if you forget it. Alright? To access this door, you have to kill all enemies before it, like the boss, but if some enemies are too far back, they will not cause you not to be able to open up the door. There's a trap on the right. Watch out for it. It's on the wall. Enemies to the right with a, I believe this is a thief kit. Just keep on saying I want them, but I'm not going to get them. Some enemies down here that spawn after you kill initial enemies. Kill these guys, the doors will open with 4 more new enemies. Alright, so there's a trap off to the right. You can see it right there. Hug the wall to the left. And lean off to the right, more or less. Around this corner are 3 more enemies. You can kill them quickly if you want. When you walk through here, the right path is a dead end. The left path leads to enemies. If you get so close, they'll open, and then they'll reveal a treasure chest. Likewise, if you go back this way, there'll be another room with a few more enemies. And again, when you beat them, another treasure chest. Last but not least, for other hidden stuff, there is a religion kit way down here if you want it, but it's protected by a trap. This other player already picked it up, but they also triggered the trap. You can get it without triggering the trap from the right side. You just have to be really careful. To open up this door, you have to defeat all enemies prior to it. And if you are being chased by enemies and you start combat, the enemies on the other side will come up to the door, and you will have to figure some way to defeat them all, or back away from the door far enough, all the way, preferably all the way back to the religion kit. When you're finished with all the enemies, you walk up to this thing and you initiate the boss battle. I'm going to flip my Tamura's lucky coin. Sorry. Um, then we have this boss, Vancy Bloodscar. Um, Pretty simple boss. Uh, if you don't kill her right away, she'll call in minions from that will enter from over there, and over there, and over there. They'll come in and try to fight you, and upon defeating the boss, all those minions will disappear. So, you got your regular chest that you see glowing over there. We have our second chest, which you place the 3 crystals that we picked up, the green, the blue, and the red. And then on this side, it requires the glowberries, the ginger shroom, and the star flower, which we got all 3. Okay, so essentially you get 3 chests at the end of this dungeon. Okay, but that's basically how Cloak Tower is. Those 2 extra chests are not needed, so you do not necessarily have to pick up those extra items I picked up. In fact, if you wanted to run this dungeon and not pick up any items, that's totally up to you. Generally, you want to run through these dungeons, so if you have maximum bonus diamonds or some, you can get a maximum of 16,302 diamonds per or for these 2 runs for dungeons. So I'm just going to go ahead and refine them. And that's all I have for the Cloak Tower. When you're done, you can either teleport out, re-queue, or leave. I'm just going to leave because I'm going to be doing another tutorial here in a moment. Hopefully this was informational and very beneficial. I know I did skip 1 chest from falling down in the hole, but I didn't really think it was all that necessary. Most people skip over it because they think it's non-essential. But if you're lower level, you might want to consider a few things, especially if you're running a paladin. Running stuff like Smite instead of Circle of Power, because Circle of Power is high end. You might want to also consider using your initial R2 ability if you have not unlocked the higher skills. In particular, you're going to be wanting to run Burning Light, Valorous Strike, Radiant Strike with your Aura of Courage on with Smite. Okay? If you're looking for a 3rd slot, let's say you're only level 12, you're going to be running either Sacred Weapon. If you're level 15, I recommend Bane. If you're level 20, hopefully, you know, a little over 20, Templar's Wrath. Okay? So, initially, up until you get anything really powerful, Burning Light, Smite, Templar's Wrath. Alright? Once you get a little bit more powerful, you probably want to run something a little bit more useful. I don't recommend Relentless Avenger in any dungeon scenario, so please do not use that. And Circle of Power probably is not very good for this dungeon. So the ideal setup is Burning Light, Smite, and Templar's Wrath. Because you're running with a group, possibly Aura of Wisdom, but until you actually get it, probably Aura of Courage and Aura of Truth once you unlock it. Okay? Because you're probably going to be doing quite a bit. Or you can even run Aura of Vengeance. Pretty good choices. You got some flexibility. Problem with running it as a paladin, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of damage. So, thank you for watching. Hopefully this was very informative and it will help you run the dungeon more effectively. I hope everyone who is lower level takes advantage of these great strategies. For everybody who's actually higher level, I hope you take to heart lower level players who are trying to achieve these goals, these secrets, or if you're running just a high level party, take advantage of the shortcuts. Alright, thank you so much. Hopefully this was great.